We thank you, Father, that together as we work in this community, that we have a place in which we can have peace, and a place that it's possible to have great things happen and to be a great place for us to raise our families. We are filled with appreciation to be able to live in a country of freedom. And so we pray for our leaders. Whether we like them or not, Father, we pray for them because they need your guidance. And we have elections coming up. Oh, Father, I long for that election time where we don't have to be angry at one another, but can be able to voice our opinions with grace and peace and the ability to listen to one another. So thank you. We thank you for your leaders tonight, and as they do business for our community, we ask that you give them wisdom, understanding, that they receive all the information they need to make wise decisions. You are a great God. Thank you for being here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Nice job.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Odekirk.
Here.
Councilman Dickinson.
here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda tonight is a proclamation honoring the Joliet Slammers for being the 2018 Frontier League champions.
No, I didn't know it was coming.
Proclamation.
Right down
Whereas
there.
the Joliet Slammers recently brought
2 days ago.
recognition to the city of Joliet by winning the Frontier League Championship Series on September 18th, 2018. Whereas this is the second Slammers team to win the Frontier League Championship Series since 2011. Whereas the Joliet Slammers tied for the Eastern Division title with the Washington Wild Things with a record of 54 victories, 42 defeats. Whereas the Slammers beat the River City Rascals in the first round of the playoffs, 3-2. Whereas the Slammers were victorious and beat the Washington Wild Things in the Frontier League Championship Series 3-2, with a final score of 4-2 on Tuesday evening, September 18th, for the championship, securing it for the team. The success of the Joliet Slammers team is due in a great effort put forward by the team, whose members have committed themselves to producing the best for the Slammers, and also due to the dedication of coaches Jess Immel, Kevin Santiago, Jerry McDowell, Joe Lasco, and owners Nick Samaka and Tim Walsh. Whereas the Slammers team consists of 24 outstanding members. Pitchers: Nathan Antone, Taylor Goshen, Scott Huffman, Skylar Janis, Austin Jones, Corey Kimball, Keegan Long, Darren Osby, Lam Sullivan, Isaac Sanchez, Andrew Zellner. Catchers: Cody Clark, Terry Fulton, Brian Perry. Thank you. Infielders: Manny Cruz, Justin Garcia, Trenton Hill, Ridge Hopi Halsman. Thank you. Chaz Meadows, Danny Sardin. Outfielders: Travis Bowen, Reed John. LJ Kawaya. Thank you. Lindy and RJ Thompson. Now, whereas I, Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet City Council, would like to recognize the accomplishments of the Joliet Slammers team and congratulate them on winning the 2018 Frontier League Championship. Obviously, the trophy is here.
Thank you, Pat. I would like to make a correction, though. Mr. Mudron misspoke, because not only was our team made up of the 24 fine young men who delivered the championship on the field, but in our book, it includes all of you. And I wanted to just say thank you to you, Mr. Mayor, to the entire council, and particularly to our stadium committee members, to Marty and David, and also Mike Hewlett, who I don't think is here, but has also been a big part of our team. We are very, very grateful to have this opportunity. We're really happy to have that trophy and be able to bring it to you guys. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Get out of her way, Nick. I love the new guy. Yes, yes. Love the new guy.
Congratulations. You did it, big boy. Congratulations. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait,
Oh, we're taking pictures?
We'll bring it back next year.
Just in case, need a little reminder.
One, two, three.
Next, we have a proclamation regarding United Nations Day, October 24th, 2018.
All right, here we go. Whereas the world continues to seek the road of peace and international cooperation through the United Nations is a unique organization of independent countries that have voluntarily joined together to work for world peace and economic and social progress, and is the foremost organization in the world working for women's rights and the advancement of women. Whereas the United States' support of and leadership in the United Nations is essentially to successful achieving the goals and objectives of the world organizations. All citizens of the United States and throughout the world are encouraged to observe the birthday of the United Nations on October 24th, 2018. Now, therefore, I, Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet, on behalf of the Joliet City Council, do hereby proclaim October 24th, 2018 as United Nations Day in the City of Joliet. In recognition of the commitment of the United Nations, Zonta International and the Zonta Club of Joliet to the advancement of the status of women internationally, nationally, and in the Joliet area, and it's signed by Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet. Congratulations. Women rock.
We do. I would like to introduce myself. I am Beth Colvin. I'm the president of the Zonta Club of Joliet area, and I'm one lucky woman. We would like to thank Mayor Odekirk and the City Council for this honor and for this community for supporting Zonta. We are celebrating our 43rd anniversary, or 45th anniversary next week. So that is something to be proud of. Thank you. I'm going to turn the mic over to Pam Hunty, our international liaison.
Thank you very much, Beth. We're very happy to be here tonight, and I just have a couple of points very quickly to make about our international projects throughout the world. Zonta's focus is on the advancement of the status of women and girls internationally, nationally, and also here in the city of Joliet, and I'm sure you probably see some of our activities in the newspaper and perhaps have participated in them. When you think internationally, it's a little difficult for us to reach out, and so this is why the UN is so important for us. The United Nations agencies, such as UNICEF, are the ones who implement the projects to which we're contributing funding. We partner with these agencies. So I have just a couple of points about our projects. We have in Africa, we have one in Madagascar, which deals with education of girls who have dropped out of school. We're contributing $1 million towards that. In the Middle East, in Jordan, we're working with Syrian refugee women along with Jordanian women in income generation, and we've contributed $1 million to that. Throughout Asia and Africa, we have a number of countries in which there is a project especially trying to end child marriage. We're working with policy and also on the ground in encouraging girls to stay in school. And then lastly, our club here contributes to a project in Afghanistan in which we individually as a club send money to Afghanistan to pay the salaries of teachers in a rural educational facility. So this in total is what we're involved with. There's a lot more details to be given, but a week from tomorrow is UN Day. I hope we see some recognition of it in the news or on television, in the media. And thanks again for having us here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Awesome job. Thank you so much for the work that you all do. I know.
Durham? Good job.
Thank you so much. Good job, Naomi.
How are you? Good job.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you so much for your work.
Yep, David, where's David? Here he comes. I'm tall, so he's all over it. Everybody in front.
Good luck.
Or I'll forget in this second.
Okay. Everybody, all of us. This way now. He said move this way.
All right, 1, 2, 3, smile. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Next is a proclamation. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You don't allow me to make a comment. Ladies of Zonta, I just had to say this. I would be remiss if I did not. Everything that you're doing internationally, nationally, but you're doing so much work right here locally in our city. My organization had an opportunity, was blessed with an opportunity to work with you ladies, and you are amazing. You ladies are amazing. We thank you so much for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is a proclamation for Red Ribbon Week for 2018.
That's hard to say.
Got his tie. That's why he wore that tie.
Right. I was thinking we got it this morning.
Nice tie.
Is that why Terry dressed?
It's his red ribbon tie.
You got the red ribbon tie.
Minds think alike. Absolutely. Proclamation. Whereas the theme of Red Ribbon Week 2018 is Life is Your Journey, Travel Drug-Free. Whereas drug and alcohol abuse has a devastating effect not only on the individual, but also the family and entire community. Whereas research indicates that young people who avoid the early use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs are less likely to engage in self-destructive behaviors and actions that place individuals and community property in harm's way. Whereas the Illinois Drug Education Alliance, Chestnut Health System, Greater Joliet Alliance for Youth, also known as JAY, Southwest Coalition for Substance Abuse Issues, the Will County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition, the Joliet First Assembly are promoting the Red Ribbon Campaign throughout the state to raise awareness and constantly remind us of the dangers of illegal drug use. Whereas the 2018 observance of Red Ribbon Week provides residents of Joliet the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by actively participating in Life is Your Journey, Travel Drug-Free. Now, therefore, I, Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet City Council, do hereby proclaim October 23rd to October 31st, 2018 as Red Ribbon Week throughout the City of Joliet and encourage all citizens to work together in making our community a healthy and safe place to live. Congratulations.
Thank you. The Red Ribbon Campaign is the oldest and largest drug prevention program in the nation. It reaches millions of young people during Red Ribbon Week, and that week is October 23rd through the 31st every year. Red Ribbon Week is an ideal way for people and communities to unite and take a visible stand against drugs. The Red Ribbon Campaign was started when a drug trafficker in Mexico City murdered a DEA agent. That agent name was Kiki Camaro. His name was Enrique, but we call him Kiki. Ever since then, we have dedicated Red Ribbon Week in his honor. They were caught, they were arrested, but it still continued. Right after they were arrested, another whole group of them emerged. So it's a constant battle. And I know everybody know it because you read it and you see it in the news all the time about the cartel. It's still going on. But I am honored that the city of Joliet and our mayor, our great mayor, Mayor Erdiker, is so gracious to dedicate Joliet and make sure that everybody here knows that we stand against drugs. And when it comes to youth, we're talking cigarettes, alcohol, vapor, all of it. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And we are going to do our best to constantly work. It's my passion to keep kids drug-free. Thank you again, City Council and Mayor.
Thank you.
Our kids have a gift for, where's, has a gift for everyone up there, and we have gifts for everyone out here in the audience too, to wear your red ribbons proudly that week.
I gotta find me a tie like Terry. Find me a tie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It does. Red hair, no? It's not for Red Ribbon Week. Did you? It's the color of the gray.
Thank you so much for the work. Keep up the good work. Congratulations.
You guys want, of course.
Thank you, probably do.
No, Red Ribbon right now. He's got it.
No, I do not. Thanks.
Dave, there's so many back.
All right.
All right, 1, 2, 3, red ribbon.
Thank you.
Next, under agenda items and reports is Council Memo 520-18, City Manager Employment Contract. This item will require two separate votes. The first is authorization for separation of the employment contract for the city manager effective October 17th, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve a separation of the employment contract for the city manager effective October 17th, 2018. Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Just to clarify, Marty, this is to formally accept the end of the contract, if you will, or the breaking of the contract and separation. Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Motion carried. Second item is a resolution authorizing execution of a separation agreement between the City of Joliet and City Manager David Hales.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
No.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
I don't agree with it, so therefore I have to vote no.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Motion carried 6-2.
Mayor and Council, if I could just take a few minutes, I just want to extend my sincere appreciation for the honor and privilege of serving as your city manager and allowing my wife and I to come to Joliet and be part of this community. I also want to just acknowledge not only the directors that are here tonight, but the many employees that the city of Joliet hires and utilizes and asks to really be the frontline servants to our citizens and business leaders. I've got to know many of them, and I see on a daily basis the commitment they have of doing the best possible job with the resources they have. I think it's a testament to them of the great admiration that we have from citizens because of the employees who are out there each and every day trying to provide critical services to enjoy the high level of quality of life we have in this community. So I thank them and I applaud them, and just, it's been really a humbling experience to be part of the Joliet family and to serve alongside them. And if you'd allow me, I'd like to just come up forward and thank you personally for this privilege of being here this past year.
Thank you, David.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Second?
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Motion carried. Citizens to be heard on agenda items. Is there anyone present that would like to speak on an agenda item this evening? If you're here for a public hearing, you would speak during the public hearing.
I don't think she can see you.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Morales, and my address is 1315 Cora Street. With me here is members of the Collins Street Neighborhood Council, myself, and Amy Sanchez and Rosa Hernandez. We just wanted to mention, as I mentioned yesterday, that the Collins Street Neighborhood Council supports projects that will service our area and complements economic development in the area, which includes the small business in the Collins Street corridor. This particular project will bring life to an empty property of land that has been that has seen no development in about 30 years. This project will bring jobs to the area. The potential owner of the proposed gas station have stated to make gas prices even across the board with their company while making competitive prices with other gas stations in the area. Finally, this proposed project poses no threat to our quality of life plan that I was one of the original members of for Districts 4 and 5. This plan looks for the well-being of our residents and business owners by providing functional economic development that will help boost the needs of our growing community. We understand the preservation of historical buildings, but with time, culture changes, times change. I'm more about preserving the humanity of people and bringing economic development. So as long as this limestone is somehow preserved to build a gateway into the area in the Jackson and Collins Street locations, we support the tearing down of the building. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey there. Amy Sanchez of the Collins Street Neighborhood Council. I just want to echo what Alicia has mentioned already, and our board had quite a lengthy discussion about the possibility of such a large location. That area has been vacant. There was a laundromat there 30 plus years ago for a long time, and there hasn't been any development there. In fact, I've walked that area, and besides political signage and trash, there really hasn't been any interest in that area that has been tangible. So we're encouraged by the developer wanting to put that large of an investment into that area. I spoke to many of the neighbors, a lot of relatives that are encouraged by it because it sat vacant for so long and it's not being taken care of. We definitely advocate for the historic preservation whenever possible, but any dollar amount that the city would have to take to relocate a building or to demolish and then rebuild a building, I would just say would be better served in that area to the human capacity versus something of this nature. So the many, many people that we've discussed and talked with are very much in favor of the gas station being built. And if it's gonna delay the developers moving forward with the project at all, we just would advocate that it be not considered if that's the case. We don't want to take a chance on these developers pulling out by having to put in an astronomical amount of time and resources into other options. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Garland Mays. I'm president of the Forest Park Neighborhood Council. My council and I, we've also talked about the businesses coming down on Jackson Street, and we're looking forward to it. I've seen the plans of Thornton, and I think it's beautiful. It's going to be very nice for the College Street area. One thing I want to piggyback off Alicia is that the limestone that is in question should not be in question because it's been not utilized for so long. I totally agree about using it in the gateways, but I also want to use it in the Forest Park area because my residents are going to be using that gas station as well. It's been so many years at the gas stations and area stores where people in the Forest Park area has had to pay up in order just to have a quality of life. And so I've heard rumors about moving the facility. Well, that money can be used, in my eyes, and I'm speaking on myself and my council, to be used throughout the entire city. We have neighborhood councils out here that do all this work out here every day, and basically off the back of our people of donations and as well as out of our own pocket. The money that can be used, and I don't mean to cause a conflict of interest. We talked last night at our meeting last night about the Forest Park Center. Right now, everyone knows that funding is pretty tight, and right now we're in a fundraising in order to keep our center open and alive. It's always been a cornerstone for the Forest Park, and for that money that can be used to move a building, it can be used in these neighborhoods to help revitalization. So I ask the council to consider that. You know, I know that we're going to have a tough task keeping Forest, but this center not only serves children, it serves families that are needing in food, clothing, education. Thank you, Amy, for helping me speak, but I think I'm all right. Thank you, Amy. But it helps in so many ways. At Collins Street, they're helping out. We have the Spanish Center. You want to take my 4 minutes? Just kidding. And I really would like to see that money used throughout the neighborhoods instead of used to move a building. You know, it just has to be looked at that way. So I ask you to think about that. I ask you also to help save our center. And I'm asking every council member, whether you live in District 2, 4, 5, whatever, to help us with our center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item?
Hello, City Council. My name is Roberto Jesus Clack. I'm with the Warehouse Workers for Justice. I'm the Associate Director, and I'm speaking on the proposal to approve a zoning change for a staffing agency in town. As many of you, I think this issue is coming up. What kind of job quality are the staffing agencies providing? Just to give a little context, there are 99 staffing agencies currently doing business in Will County, 14 of which are in Joliet. We've seen the warehouse district and the intermodals come into town. They have created a lot of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs just in this area, and it does employ many in the community. But the issue of job quality is directly related, and bad job quality is directly related to the issue of staffing agencies. The business model for a staffing agency is they employ people for many of the warehouses, and what do? They ask for the lowest bid. Who can provide the cheapest labor? This is intricately involved in the lower job quality in the warehouse district. We've done research, www4j.org. You can go to our website and find out some of our research, but over 60% of the workforce within the warehouses in Will County are temp labor. It dominates the industry. You can go to any warehouse and ask people how many of you have never been able to get a permanent job at a warehouse, and there will be many. We have a term for it, permatemp. So we really want you to, I think this is something we need to really look at. This is an issue. We didn't come and bring this to the attention of the city council. Jim Riggs and some other people who are part of the zoning board of appeals asked this on their own. We're here to give context, to ask you to really consider, is this the kind of businesses we need to bring into our community? We believe that they drive down labor standards. There can be 4 or 5 different, it's not unusual to have 4 or 5 different staffing agencies in one warehouse. That's technically 4 or 5 different employers. If there's a union drive, and unions are directly linked to upping standards, that's 4 or 5 different companies you have to organize, making it very difficult for workers to get together to make the changes required. So I think we really need to evaluate. I'm glad that this issue's coming up on its own. We want to be a part of this discussion. We want to be a resource for the city council, and we want you to vote no at this time. We need a moratorium before we bring more staffing agencies to really evaluate what kind of jobs that they've brought into the community. We think they're low-wage jobs. There's discrimination. There's occupational and safety issues. And please say no. You know, we need to have a very serious discussion before we allow any more of these kind of businesses to come here and do business in our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Councilman, Mayor. My name is Brandon McDonald. I'm a member of Warehouse Workers for Justice. The reason I'm a member is because I, myself, has worked in warehouses. Myself, with others, we've been fighting to make permanent jobs. It's hard because we can't go in and get sick days. We can't get days off, or we can't get the respect that we need. We're trying to get permanent jobs. We don't have them. It's hard on us. I've worked for Reliable. I worked for PLS. I've worked for Veracity. These are just a few temp agencies that I work for that promised me that I would have a permanent job. And I've worked for these agencies over the time limit that they said that they was gonna give me a permanent job. One agency I had to file a lawsuit against for wage theft because I was working and wasn't getting my proper wages. I was getting under the what would you call it?
Minimum wage?
Minimum wage. I'm sorry about that. I was getting under minimum wage, and it wasn't fair. I was breaking my back, couldn't get days off. I couldn't go see about my kids because I was getting threatened about if I try to go find out about my kids that was in the hospital or something, that I would get fired. I would get fired and wouldn't have a job. That is not fair. I can't go check on my children to make sure that they're okay. That is not fair that I get picked on because I have a background. I'm just a hardworking person trying to make a living for my family. I want to make a living for my family and do the right thing. I don't have that choice where I can go out and do this and do that, where I have to do things that's uplifting to show my children that you can strive to do better. Even though I have a background, I'm still out here trying to make a living for my children to show them a positive father. I'm trying to be a role model for my children. And it's hard to do this if I can't get a permanent job. So I, myself, vote no. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sonia Diodato. I'm with the company HR Metrics, one of the staffing companies that is applying for the special use permit in the state of Joliet. And I know that for some folks, they paint all staffing companies with the same brush. I'd like to point out the fact that our minimum wage for our core customer is $2.75 higher than the state of Illinois' minimum wage. We offer platforms for some folks that wouldn't normally be able to get into the warehousing industry, such as MHE training, material handling equipment training, which a lot of other companies do not do. So we do provide that training. In terms of safety, we do have a dedicated safety committee, as well as dedicated regional safety managers and a dedicated safety department. I'd also like to note that, again, it's not a fair comment to paint all agencies with the same brush. We offer merit days, we offer paid vacation, we offer paid sick days, we offer medical benefits, we offer long-term opportunities that in some instances, like I said, we provide the platform that wouldn't necessarily be available to some of our associates that we employ full-time. So we're not in the business of using and abusing in terms of our organization, and I'd like you to just keep that in the forefront of your mind in making this decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, City Council. My name is Ann Baskerville, and I'm a conservation organizer with the Illinois chapter of the Sierra Club. I'm here tonight to provide public comment on these two zoning issues of staffing agencies that are on your agenda. The Sierra Club believes we need economic development that puts people and the environment first. We need living wages on a living planet, not a permatemp system that has been documented by the Warehouse Workers for Justice. And I do have a question about the zoning application that was on the website. I believe it was page 18. On the special use requested, it says temporary labor company, and that's crossed out. And then under that, it says staffing company providing full-time job opportunities and long-term job opportunities. So I just had a question, just raise that issue that it seems like temporary labor company was put first and then crossed out. And then the license, this was on, I just have a picture on my phone, I don't have the actual, further on in the application, it says that the Department of Labor, the certificate of registration for HR Metrics in Shorewood is for a day and temporary labor services agency. So these are just some of the questions, and every company, I do recognize that there can be differences and no two companies are the same, but as Roberto said, I think we need to look at this issue and get some facts. How many of the workers are actually getting these full-time jobs? One of the warehouses that was stated in the document online that they would be providing workers for Walmart. I know the Walmart warehouse in Elwood, that's been there for years. So the question is, how many of those workers at Walmart, why isn't that like a long-term stable job with family supporting wages, benefits, pension? Is it if they're still having a staffing company, you can understand that there would be some turnover, right? And especially for a business that large, but how many of those jobs are really family supporting and permanent? And for a place like Walmart that's been open for so long, what's the turnover and how much of that is related to job quality? The Sierra Club sees the fights for environmental and worker justice as intertwined. The same companies that are spewing diesel fumes in our area are hiring workers through multiple layers of logistic companies. Instead of companies like Walmart hiring workers directly, providing benefits, and paying a living wage, workers moving goods and these are the biggest companies on the planet: Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, IKEA, they're all here in Joliet, the crossroads of America. So I just want to be here. I want to say that I think we need to look at this issue, as Warehouse Workers for Justice said. And how would it change this area if we just saw that Amazon raised their wage? So when we organize, we can improve conditions. And just on the environmental side, we're very concerned about the diesel pollution in Joliet. And this summer, we monitored along 5380 and Lairway, and the air was unhealthy for all people on 10 out of 54 days, and unhealthy for sensitive groups, so that'd be like children, people with asthma, certain respiratory conditions on 30 out of 54 days. And so I just want to really speak for the Sierra Club that we care about these issues, and we think that we can do better. We think that we can go for more renewable energy, clean up the air, and also look at the worker side of things and make sure that there's justice for people and planet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move to council committee reports. First is the Economic Development Committee.
The Economic Development Committee met on October 9th here at City Hall at 5 p.m. On the committee in attendance was Councilman Morris, Councilman Mudrin, and myself. There was one item on the agenda, and that was the property at 141 East Jefferson Street, otherwise known as the Wright Field Building. Okay, it's a big limestone building that's been vacant for a couple of decades at least. It is city-owned. It had a major bearing truss failure that's been stabilized. It's going to take some money to improve, and we have a developer that would like to improve it. Staff brought it to us. The developer is going under the name Gateway Building LLC, and staff brought it, Steve Jones and Derek Conley brought it to us to get authorization from the committee to finalize a preliminary agreement that will then come back to the committee. We will attach a recommendation, and ultimately it will come to the full city council for approval or otherwise. The things to know other than the details, I mean, they've got all the paperwork in order, correct, Steve?
Correct.
They're really on top of it. It is a $2 million project, estimated to be $2 million, $1.978 million, of which the developer will be paying $1.578, almost $1.6 million of it out of their own pocket. They will receive a city TIF grant of $300,000. They will have a purchase price of $300,000 for the building, and improvements proven to be made will be balanced against that $300,000. So yes, they could ultimately have the building, because it's going to cost obviously more than $300,000 to stabilize and renovate that building. And they will receive $100,000 from the City Center Partnership Group in grant for that. So that's where we're at. We gave them authorization a month ago to continue negotiations. They've gone fairly well, real well, in fact. And now they want to finalize them for a preliminary agreement or that can be brought back to our committee and to this council. And that was the only item that was on the agenda. Pat, Terry, anything?
No, sir.
Mayor, that is my report. Thank you.
Finance Committee report.
The Finance Committee comprised of Councilman Mudrin, myself, and Councilman Girl met this evening at 5:30. Councilman Girl had another commitment, could not attend this evening. We reviewed the monthly finance report, found that to be in order. We looked at an amendment to the Gateway Transportation Center, the food beverage lease agreement over at the new train station over here. It's an excellent tenant. The staff negotiated the contract and had recommended $500 a month rent, and had no idea if that was going to be high or low. The revenues are producing right now are about $5,000 a month before any cost. So there was request to amend the agreement to $200 a month and take another look at it. If revenues increase substantially or decrease, it'll be looked at again. We reviewed the personnel summary, travel expense report, invoices paid report, and found them all to be in order.
Land Use and Legislative Committee report.
Yes, the Land Use and Legislative Committee, we met on October 11th here in the council chamber. I think it was October 12th when we finished. The committee was myself, Councilman Dickerson, and Councilwoman Quillman. Also in attendance was just about everybody: Kendall Jackson, Jeff Sturr, Mike Forrest, Chris Regis, Marty Shanahan. We had a lengthy agenda. Marty's gonna jump in and help me out with some things, as well as Kendall. One of the agenda items was the electric fence, and we discussed that several times, I believe, at the committee level. No action was needed in this case, but I believe we came to a consensus on the committee that city legal department as well as planning has came together and ironed out some issues with the zoning, and I believe it'll be going to the plan commission. Is that right, Kendall?
That is correct.
And then it will be coming to the full council for approval. The electric fence will be in industrial areas only for some of our companies here that has a lot of goods that are kept outside. So it's something needed for security purposes. Item 5 was an ordinance where Marty's gonna help me out.
Basically this was a tweak of the administrative adjudication ordinances. As you know, it's moving forward. We're going to administrative adjudication. There was one additional thing that I just want you to be aware of that was included in this ordinance, and that was a fine for the unlicensed breeders of dogs, $750.
Thank you, Marty. Item 6 was a rental inspection proposed modification, and that was much discussion. We're bringing in, looking to bring in single family rental units. Did I say that right?
Correct.
Because I was saying it wrong, I think, at the committee level.
That is correct.
With much discussion in terms of having a program designed for single-family rental units here in the city to be brought into the rental program where we already have multi-unit units now. Am I covering that pretty good, Jan? Don?
Well, because there's a lot of single-family rentals out there that are owned by absentee landlords. And we already have a rental inspection program for 2 units, 3 units, and multiple units. But since there are so many single-family rental units in the city, it was brought to our attention by a few of the neighborhood organizations that we need to put the single-family rentals on the list as well to make sure that the absentee landlords are taking care of the properties.
Right, and again, it was much discussion, and I know that the full council will get a chance to chime in once, I guess, it's brought to the full council with a final draft. And I guess there's some concerns about, as Jan said, the absentee landlords, and that's not taking care of their property or hard to get in touch with. So staff was kind of asked to go back and do some restructuring of the feeds, because at the same time we don't want to burden, a landlord that only owns one single family property where he has to pass the cost on to the renter. So that was part of the discussion. So that will be something coming back to the committee first, and then hopefully we can have it moved to the full council. Our next agenda item was the Joliet Plainfield Boundary Agreement. Who's taking that? Kendall?
Yes, Mayor and members of the council. This item is related to the agreement between the City of Joliet and Village of Plainfield. The boundary agreement actually expired January of 2017. We have been in discussions with the Plainfield staff, working out an agreement. No changes to the actual boundary line are proposed. There is one item regarding the length of the agreement. The original proposal had a 10-year life to it. At the Land Use Committee, the discussion revolved around making that a five-year length. So we'll discuss that with the Plainfield staff. Eventually, this will come to the full City Council for consideration.
Thank you, Kendall. I believe Jeff stirred, we had a discussion of adding 2 code inspectors to be proactive enforcement of the city code. I guess over the past several months, legal has came with us and updated some of our ordinance, and we've added some new ordinance. But the problem was we didn't have anyone to enforce the ordinance for the businesses that was in violation. So there was an addition, it's being proposed to hire 2 additional code inspectors for the violations for businesses, the city code. Next we had a conversation, Marty, I didn't ask you about this one, we take this one, the small cell ordinance agreement. And I think some time ago, Mr. Mayor, we was informed about small cells that will be placed on some of our lights and by some of the carriers, phone carriers.
So in this particular case, state statute dictates the rules that cities can follow, and even though we are home rule, we are bound by the state law. So essentially, it's following the state law. And then there is one in the northwest corner of Black and Essington. It's not on one of our poles, but you can at least see it. We had a picture of it passed around.
And next was, there was moved to the full council, was authorization to execute a programmatic agreement among the City of Joliet and the Illinois Department of Natural Resources for certain programs of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development administered by the City of Joliet.
Yes, this item is Section 106 Historic Review. Currently, whenever we are proposing to demolish structures that may be in historic districts, there is a Section 106 review that's required. These reviews are sent downstate to the State Historic Preservation Office for review. In order to expedite that process, we currently have a planner that is getting trained up on Section 106 review. and are entering into a sort of a draft agreement with the state Department of Natural Resources, which has absorbed the State Historic Preservation Office to make that happen. So if there are extensive reviews that are required, the state still will do that. But for these more pedestrian reviews that are just maybe sheds or garages that are falling down and need to be demolished, we can do these in-house now, which will help speed up our clearance and blight reduction program.
Thank you, Kendall. We just have just a couple more here. This was also moved to the full council for approval and ordinance amending Chapter 8 of Buildings, Constructions, and Property Maintenance, Article 1, Division 6 of the City of Joliet Code of Ordinance.
Pretty straightforward. If someone or a business or an owner or landowner has debt to the city, we are not going to issue a building permit.
Pretty straightforward. Kendall, the CMAP is LP grant for the South Chicago Street plan. That'll be from I-80 to New Street.
Correct. This is a grant application that staff will be submitting to CMAP, very similar to the project we did on Chicago Street north of Jefferson. This section of the corridor is the only section that does not have a current plan, and we'd like to submit an application to CMAP to bring on professional consulting services to help us put a plan in place for what essentially is the gateway to the downtown.
And was this stated it about in 2 months or something? It should be back to us, or?
Yes, once the application is made and it's due towards the end of October, there'll be about a 2 or 3 month turnaround before we know whether or not we won the grant.
Okay. All right, thank you. The last item was a resolution authorizing the allocation of home funds and the execution of a home sub-recipient agreement between the City of Joliet and the Will County Center for Community Concerns. So I guess this was also moved to the full council. Did we act on that? I can't read my own notes sometimes. But that's for, home assisting, down payment assistance.
Correct, down payment assistance.
And is it, anything else you want to add on that?
No, it's pretty straightforward. It's an annual agreement that we do with that agency, and they act as our partner for down payment assistance.
And then there is some city oversight on how the funds are dispersed.
Yes.
That's it, man.
Excellent.
Can I, one clarification.
Okay.
Jeff Sturr was there and, for neighborhood services, and he would like to have 2 more inspectors to help him, since their city's so big and there's so many rentals, that would be helpful to him. But if we can't do that, then we suggested that we get some code enforcement inspectors. They wouldn't necessarily be inspecting the homes, but when people are in violation with such as signs and parkways, the flags, the lights, things that are not taken care of, so that they would go around, kind of like a meter person would do. So if we could, do something like that, he then thought that would be helpful to them, because they don't have the people to go around and check every little complaint, and these guys would just go out and check. So it's something to entertain at budget time, maybe 2 new inspectors and or some code enforcement folks. It would be very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Public Service Committee report.
Public Service met yesterday, October 15th, 2018, here at City Hall at 4:30 in the afternoon. It was a pretty routine meeting with routine items. We did look over 3 contracts and unanimously approved to send them on to the council with a recommendation for approval. Of course, in attendance and on the committee is Councilwoman Gavin and Councilman Dickinson, as well as myself. And in attendance always is a slew of public works and public utilities engineers and directors. There was several change orders pay estimates and final payments that we vetted. And again, we found no problems. We found them to be in order. And they all too received a unanimous approval for a recommendation for approval by the full council. We are outfitting a couple more trucks And we're up to, I believe, Jim, 3 new trucks out of the 5 we've been authorized for this year, right? As far as Public Works?
Yeah, we've got 3 orders. We've got 2.5 tons and one of the tandem axles ordered, and we're working on the last 2 tandem axles. They've got a special lean plow, so we're working on those specifications. We can get those orders, get those out for bid ASAP.
And that has a direct impact on snow removal, that we have dependable trucks. We're rebuilding the fleet, which is long in coming, so we finally have been doing it for the last couple of 2-3 years. And we did approve, and I'm sure the council will, the order of anti and de-icing fluids, otherwise referred to as beet juice. And for those in the community watching or here at the meeting, those are the dark stripes you see down the street right before a snow event. When we have the prediction, the city sends them out, and that keeps the snow from sticking to the street, and it's really worked well the last several years since Jim Trisna and Mike Ulitz had instituted and pursued that program. It's really done a good job. Other than that, everything was in order. Everything that we discussed was sent to the full council and will be on the agenda tonight. If I missed anything, folks, that would be the report from the Public Service Committee. Thank you.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on October 1st and the minutes of the council meeting held on October 2nd, 2018 stand approved as recorded. The 2019 Joliet City Council meeting schedule. It's recommended this schedule be approved. And invoices paid report. It's recommended this report be received and placed on file. Is there a motion to approve said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under public hearings, Council Memo 522-18, ordinances and resolution associated with Corridor 80 subdivision. It's recommended this item be tabled to the November 5th council meeting.
Motion to table.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 522-18, ordinances and resolution associated with Corridor 80 subdivision to the November 5th council meeting. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Motion carried. Also under public hearings is Council Memo 523-18, a resolution approving the 6th Amendment to the annexation agreement for Centerpoint Intermodal Center and Joliet subdivision. This is a public hearing, so comments are in order at this time.
Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item?
Good evening, Keith Landovitz, 23525 South Vedder Road in Shanahan Township. I express no opposition to this proposed amendment. I have filed with the city clerk some technical comments, again, not in opposition, but that I think ought to be part of the record that concern modifications to the concept plan. I do have one plea that I think I ought to make in person here. I reiterate my commitment to negotiate in good faith with Centerpoint for the property acquisition that will enable the terms of the annexation agreement to be fulfilled. But I note that the city has agreed through the annexation agreement to exercise its powers of eminent domain to facilitate that property acquisition if these negotiations were to fail. My plea to you, the mayor and the members of the city council, is simply that if in due course you ever were to conclude that the time was right to exercise such powers, that you would please afford me or any property owner similarly situated the opportunity to express directly to the city what the issue might be in the negotiations, what the status of those negotiations is, and what might be preventing their conclusion. And I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Marty, I think it's a fair request if we get to that point.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on item 523-18 during the public hearing? Seeing none, let the record show that the hearing is now closed. It's recommended this resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to adopt a resolution approving the Sixth Amendment to the annexation agreement for Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet subdivision. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under ordinances, Council Memo 525-18, ordinances associated with Elliott subdivision. This includes an ordinance approving the preliminary plat of Elliott subdivision, 408 Collins Street, an ordinance approving the reclassification of 3 parcels at 404 and 406 Clay Street and 411, 413 East Jackson Street from R2 Single Family Residential Zoning to B3 General Business Zoning. And an ordinance approving the vacation of 10-foot wide and 16-foot wide portions of in-use alley portions near 408 Collins Street. It's recommended said ordinances be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Marty, I don't know if this is the time to ask this question, but I don't want to miss it if it is. Ms. Morales, last night and tonight had made a statement that the developers, this is for the Thornton gas station?
Yes.
Is gonna do something with the cost of the gas, gonna make it, I can't remember the exact words, clear across the board or something, or even the price of gas.
Yes.
I mean, that's nothing that we
can't control that.
Can control that. So they just saying what they propose to do.
Yes.
And when they and then is they saying with the station across the street, or with the Thornton station on the Jefferson and what is that? Infantry, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think what they're probably talking about is, since there's more competition, maybe it'll reduce the prices overall. So, but again, there's nothing that the city can do about that.
Right, because it just sounds like to me that they saying that they just gonna have the same price as the gas station across. They're not gonna be higher than the gas station across the street. The way it sounds to me, from what Mr. Morales said.
I don't think we have any control over
We don't have any control of that anyway. But I was just okay. All right. Thank you.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve Council Memo 525.
Councilman Hanson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If I could make a comment, Mr. Mayor, or Councilman, I think we're treading on, serious legal questions when you raise a question of that nature at this particular time. So, Councilman Morris, I just, with antitrust issues, et cetera, so that's really not a part of what we're here tonight on the land use question, if you know what I mean? So that's really what's before the council tonight. So just want to make sure that's clear with everybody.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve Council Memo 525-18, which are ordinances associated with Elliott subdivision. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 526-18 is an ordinance approving the vacation of 0.03 acre unused portion of an alley adjacent to 812 Plainfield Road. It's recommended this item be tabled to the November 20th, 2018 council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve, or to table this to, the November 20th council meeting. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 526-18 was tabled to the November 20th council meeting. Council Memo 527-18, an ordinance approving or resolution denying a variation of use to allow the continuation of a 2-unit at 117-119 Southeastern Avenue. It's recommended this item be tabled to the November 5th council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 527-18 to the November 5th council meeting. Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 527-18 was tabled to the November 5th council meeting. Council Memo 528-18, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a staffing company in a vacant commercial tenant space located at 232 South Larkin Avenue. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to table this. Personally, I hear some concerns, a little bit from both sides, and I think I would like to see if staff can, well, I don't want, and what I mean by that is I think there may be some good staffing agencies out there, and I don't think we should, you know, as the lady said, paint them all with a brush. So that's what would be my motion to table.
Second.
Do you have a specific date? Did you want it tabled to the November 5th council meeting?
Well, whatever staff, Marty's staff think that 5th or the second meeting in November.
Yeah, is that gonna be enough time?
Well, what exactly would you like us to follow up with the staffing agency?
I was concerned about I guess the quality of the staffing agencies that we do allow in the city, you know, and to try to get some more information for myself in terms of how, because I've been hearing this for years now from that personally people not being treated right, you know, being fired on the 90th day, the 80th. And I don't know all the details. That's just one side of the story. And I believe staff can get a better, you know, grasp on, you know, what's going on, as opposed to just allowing a staffing agency to come in here. And I do believe that there are some staffing agencies, and I do believe companies do need people seasonally, you know, to come in, and, as well as peak seasons. So I'm not against staffing agencies, but I think that there's been some questions raised here this evening, as in the past, about some staffing agencies.
My suggestion is, why don't we just go to the next meeting, because I think we have 3 weeks. To the November
5th. Okay. Is that okay? So it's been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 528-18, which is an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a staffing company in a vacant commercial tenant space located at 232 South Larkin Avenue to the November 5th council meeting. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
No.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
No.
Councilwoman Quillman?
No.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-3. Council Memo 528-18 is tabled to the November 5th council meeting. Council Memo 529-18, an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a banquet hall for small parties, a B3 general business used in an R2 single-family zoning district located at 1214 North Rainer Avenue. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
I have a question. Is this the old Guernsey 3?
Yep.
How late are these parties gonna go?
Bring back memories, though?
Very vague memories.
They're a little foggy.
How late?
Councilman, the answer to your question, in the memo here, it states Saturdays and Sundays only from 3 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Okay. And there'll be alcohol?
No.
Okay.
They can bring their own bottle though, supposedly.
Mine never downloaded, so I couldn't see it. So.
I couldn't either.
Marty, is that legal if you have a banquet hall that doesn't have a liquor license to allow the renters to bring their own?
It's a very interesting legal question, because it has to do with the facility itself and the bring your own and needing a liquor license for something like that.
Does that mean they can't do that?
So the most conservative view is you can't do that.
So if they did do that, we would ticket them?
Unless they had a liquor license, because it includes giving away also in the liquor code.
But they're not suggesting that, correct? I mean, they're not suggesting bring your own.
No, I'm not, I don't know.
Well, at the zoning board meeting, they said they were gonna come back later on for a liquor permit. And I know the neighbors in that area are very upset.
But I thought the neighbors in the area signed a petition in favor of it. I mean, not alcohol, but as of what
No,
they
but-
presented.
Yes, but the alcohol will come later, and that's what they're against. So I don't know.
They have to come,
Decided
they
the
have
No, I
to
have
come
to
to
come,
us.
exactly,
They have to come to us,
but
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just,
So the memo actually says that the petitioner indicated that there will be no alcohol allowed on site.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve Council Number 529-18, which is an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a banquet hall for small parties at B3 general business use in an R2 single-family zoning district located at 1214 North Rainer Avenue. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
no.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
No.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried 6-2. Council Memo 530-18, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a woman's re-entry house as an accessory use at Holy Hills Church located at 510 Columbia Street. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 531-18, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a staffing and recruitment office within an existing tenant space located at 423 Collins Street. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
Again, I'll move the table.
Second.
Second.
Would you like to table it to the November 5th meeting to stay consistent? Okay. It's been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 531-18, which is an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a staffing and recruitment office within an existing tenant space located at 423 Collins Street to the November 5th council meeting. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
No.
Councilwoman Coleman.
No.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
No?
Motion carried 5-3. Council Memo 532-18, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a used truck and trailer sales as an accessory use to transportation and logistics facility located at 1738 Terminal Court. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 533-18, an ordinance approving a variation of use in order to allow the additional location of a concrete batch plant, an I-2 general business use, in an ITC intermodal terminal industrial park zoning district located at 1851 Patterson Road. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Council Memo 534-18, an ordinance updating the procedure for administrative adjudication in Chapter 3 and the fine schedule set forth in Chapter 1, Section 1-8D of the City of Joliet Code of Ordinances. I believe an updated ordinance was placed on the dais this evening. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 535-18 is an ordinance clarifying a variation of use for 2115 Marmion Avenue, clarifying ordinance 8797, which was passed on January 4th, 1989. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So,
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 536-18, an ordinance to set a date and time for and to approve a public notice of a public hearing for the Silver Cross Tax Increment Financing District Eligibility Study and Redevelopment Plan and Project. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 537-18, an ordinance declaring certain properties as public nuisances. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 538-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 8, Buildings, Construction, and Property Maintenance, Article 1, Administration and Enforcement, Division 6, Permits Generally, Applications, Conditions, Section 8-39, Action on Application. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 539-18, an ordinance amending the 2018 annual budget for the City of Joliet and approval of change order number 1 for the purchase of a pre-wet system for the 2.5-ton dump trucks with plow accessories in the amount of $11,120 to Rush Truck Center. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 540-18, an ordinance amending the 2018 annual budget for the City of Joliet and purchase of a tandem axle 6x4 dump truck with plow accessories in the amount of $211,311 to Rush Truck Center. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 541-18, an ordinance amending the 2018 annual budget for the City of Joliet and request authorization to award a contract for prison security system hardware and implementation not to exceed $132,000. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
I'm sorry, it took out of order.
Oh, okay.
Out of order, Chris.
Sorry. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
No.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-1. Under resolutions, Council Memo 543-18, a resolution declaring certain City of Joliet property as surplus. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 544-18, a resolution approving a First Amendment to the Assignment, Assumption Amendment, and Restatement of a Management Agreement with Holston Management Corporation to manage Riverwalk Homes LLC for a period of 1 year with automatic renewals thereafter, subject to a 90-day termination notice. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
No.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Motion carried 7-1. Council Memo 545-18, a resolution authorizing the allocation of home funds and the execution of a home subrecipient agreement between the City of Joliet and the Will County Center for Community Concerns. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 546-18, supplemental resolution appropriating funds in the amount of $49,571 for the Phase 3 engineering services for the Caton Farm Road and Essington Road intersection improvements project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
In motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Motion carried. No bids and contracts, award of contracts. Council Memo 548-18, purchase anti-icing, de-icing fluids for the 2018-2019 snow removal operations, roadways division for SNI Solutions in the amount of $140,400 and to Sicalco Limited in the amount of $33,000. Council Memo 549-18, award a contract for the Well 17D rehabilitation project in the amount of $162,550 to Great Lakes Water Resources Group. Council Memo 550-18, award a contract for the Well Rock 2 reinstallation project in the amount of $265,000 to Great Lakes Water Resource Group. Council Memo 551-18, award a contract for a Nutanix blade server in the amount of $28,700 from CDWG. It's recommended Council Memos 548-18 through 551-18 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under amendments, change orders, and payments, Council Memo 553-18, approve amendment number 1 in the amount of $49,571 to the professional services agreement for the Phase 3 engineering services for the Caton Farm Road and Essington Road intersection improvements project to Civil Tech Engineering. Council Memo 554-18, approved change order number 1 in the amount of $20,000 to the 2018 emergency electrical maintenance contract to Mead Electric Company. Council Memo 555-18, approved change order number 7 in the amount of negative $166,342.11 for the 2017 sanitary sewer rehabilitation project with Institute Form Technologies. Council Memo 556-18, approved change order number 3 in the amount of a negative $21,438.28 for the 2017 Spring Creek Interceptor sewer lining at CN Rail Yard with for construction. Council Memo 557-18, approve amendment number 7 in the amount of $14,750 to the professional services agreement for the 2016 sanitary sewer investigations and rehabilitation program to RJN Group. It's recommended Council Memos 553-18 through 557-18 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Next is new business not for final action or
Business
recommendation.
time?
I have nothing.
Just the code enforcement officers would like to see put in place.
I agree.
Next, we have public comments. Is there anyone present that would like to speak under public comments?
I just want to make a comment. I sat on this board for a long time and listened to everybody in town talk. It appeared to me that I started reading this section about the city manager, prospective city manager, not taking the job. I think that this could have been worked out a long time ago. He's been here a year, not even that. I don't know how much it was, but I think that in a situation where we have uproot somebody, they uproot their families, and come to the city of Joliet to become a member of this body, that they use their long-term judgment when they do that, and that we don't make a rash judgment in terms of hiring somebody who's going to come on in here for 6 months or 12 months or whatever it might be. I think it's wrong. I think that what we did was probably not the best thing in the world, but we probably didn't have all the information and probably didn't realize that this guy still won't tell us why the hell he left or why he's leaving. Now, I asked some people about it here that, why is that guy leaving after this short period of time? And he didn't tell anybody, he wouldn't tell anybody, according to what I was to understand. That's just not right. And there must be some kind of a period of time. This guy was only about, what is it, a year? Would have put him at age 66 or something. I would think that he or she would be smart enough to know that this is going to be the end of their career and Joliet's going to be their last stop. And that's fine, that happens. But that isn't what happened. And I still don't know why this person decided to quit after a year on the job or less. And it's very, it's my dismay, obviously, because I thought, this is good. The guy will finish his career out, and that, he's gone, and we'll get somebody else in the meantime to take care of that position or at least look at it closely. When I found out that he was leaving, I called a few people and wanted to know why. And, that's a big decision to make. To uproot a family for that period of time, there was some poor judgment used on part of somebody. And I think we should have asked the guy the question, or if we didn't ask the question, I came to understand later that the possibility that someone might have a litigation going on and that there was like a 1-year time frame with which that person or the other party could back off. And we should have known, if we didn't know, if they hit it on us, I think we ought to have some retribution for that. But for us to not know that that person had litigation pending that could kick it out, that was unfortunate. We should, and I don't know if you all know it or don't know it. I don't know. I don't follow it that close anymore. But we should have been aware of the fact. And I think that falls to the petitioner, the person who wanted the job, that they had a litigation pending that could kill the whole thing. And within 1 year of, let's say, normal retirement, 65 or 6, that person could have told us in the meantime that, I've got a problem here with it, and his attorney, where we worked with, could have told him that that could blow the job off. He's got, or she, whoever, there's like a year to make a judgment that it's a big deal for us. And we had to do a lot of things to put that person in place to get the job. And then we had to do a lot of things and spend a lot of money to make that person a part of our system and make them whole.
Joe, you at the 4-minute mark, you wrap it up, please.
Pardon me?
You're at the 4-minute mark, you wrap it up, please.
Yeah, I'd like to ask that I get beyond the 4-minute mark from the council. It won't be long, but I want to ask the question. I would hope that in the future, that when someone comes in asking to be a part of this city, or asking to have a job at this city, that question be asked. And apparently it wasn't, or he lied about it, or whatever. I don't think he did, but the fact is, don't do it. make sure we understand that all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed. But I think that was unfortunate for him and for us. And I don't think the fault lies with the city in this case. But I believe that that should be a question asked and answered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alicia Morales, did you want to speak under public comments as well, or just under? Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comments? Seeing none, next is mayor and council comments.
Yeah, last week we had the opportunity to go out to the new IKEA. Councilman Morris, Councilman Quillman, and Councilman Mudrin. And, you know, the facility that they have out there is, it's just unbelievable. It's state of the art. Everything they're doing out there is top notch. And, you know, I'd just like to welcome IKEA. And also this Saturday is the grand opening for the Knoll Fitness Center. It's over on Mills Road. If you get a chance, come on out. The Joliet Park District spared no expense for this building. It's a welcome addition to the residents of the east side and the southeast side of Joliet. And I hope everybody gets out there and uses it.
Well, I was there at the IKEA thing, and I just have to say, these two guys, Duckinson and Terry went home to get a chainsaw, he said, because these guys had an old-fashioned saw, and they can saw some logs, I'll tell you. So it's the old-fashioned, like, pull back and forth like you see in the cartoon, except it wasn't cut all the way. So Pat Mudrin and I held the log, and we kept turning it so that they could finish it and get to the end. So it took quite a while, but.
Well, we got it done.
And we got it done. It was very comical. But I just had to say, that was the highlight of the day. Instead of a ribbon cutting, they cut logs. Yes.
Just one thing, I don't need an answer tonight, but if the staff could get maybe an update on the old gas station at Clement and Theodore Street. You know, some equipment was moved in there a while back, and still nothing's happening. If you have it now, fine. If not, you can email me or whatever.
We'll look into it.
Thank you.
Kendall, that's the one I was talking about today.
Oh, yes.
I sent an email to him.
Yeah, we're already looking into it.
Oh, yeah, okay. That was the one I talked about a month ago. Right. Okay. We'll get it.
No other comments? We did receive a request to go into a brief closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Pullman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried.